My name is Susan Dubill, and I live in Clarence, New York, and I also teach there, and I prepared something to read. Help, I need somebody. Help, not just anybody. Help, you know I need someone. Help! I need a few minutes of your time to listen not just to me, but to all the students, parents, and teachers, administrators crying for help, just like in the lyrics of the Beatles song I just quoted. As a parent, I would like to advocate not just for myself, but for other parents as well. Parents in many walks of life are talking about the Common Core and testing. Because I'm a teacher, it is natural that I would have these conversations. What is unnatural is the amount of desperation and hopelessness I hear in the pleas for help. The parents acknowledge adamantly that the teachers in the school district are doing everything they can to provide a nurturing, safe, high-standard learning environment. Unfortunately, they also know that their hands are tied, unable to make necessary changes because of unfunded mandates connected to the Common Core and its high-stake assessments. Administrators and teachers work together with parents to educate our most valuable asset, our children, and the future. It is their chosen profession to mentor the next generation. Unfortunately, this process now includes a rise in anxiety for everyone involved. Although psychologists tell us some anxiety can be beneficial, an extreme amount is detrimental. Parents passionately tell me what is just common sense, that we all want our children to like school and want to go. Anything in life is like that. You will do better if you are motivated. Motivation does not come from stressed children, parents, and teachers. Many parents are not happy. They expect the education of their children to be developmentally appropriate, engaging, and led by the professionals who work with their children. At this time, that is not what is happening in education. Help change this situation with legislation that puts the decisions about instruction, testing, and funding back in the hands of the parents and the professionals. I could really use some help myself as a parent too. I am a parent of high schoolers, and they don't appreciate having double testing for the next 2 years to make sure that the common tests are valid and reliable. The test should only be given after they have been adequately field tested with time for both teachers and students to master the curriculum to benefit the students. This hurry-up implementation does not prepare anyone for future success. It is better, I guess, than giving them only the Common Core test and having them possibly not graduate on time. Aren't the teenage years stressful enough? Along the lines of reducing stress, I also advocate for the privacy of information about students being protected by law so everyone can be calm, confident, and judgment-free. I am not confident that this information would be kept safe and secure by any agency outside of the school district. As a teacher, I could use some help also. I love teaching. I have taught for over 25 years. It is my lifelong passion. I see and hear others that feel the same way. The passion is what makes us great. Back to the concept of motivation again. That's what makes my students great too. And as I look around at the overworked and stressed teachers around me, I am sad to see what is happening in my profession. High standards are essential. That is not the problem. Hard work is admirable. That is not the problem. The problem is in the one-size-fits-all formulas for students, teacher, learning, and assessment. The individuality is what makes America great. In the 1980s, when I first started teaching, I was told how behind in science and math our nation was compared to all the other countries. Well, a creative thought, which is now the internet, was born, which which generated money from American-educated individuals to keep us strong. Many new jobs were created. Creativity and individualism help to keep us great, not conformity. So I say, use the diversity to strengthen the learning and teaching of students. Don't wipe it out. Embrace the passion that meetings such as these are invoking. We need to be passionate about education and our future. Please help us to do this with implementation of a change in policy. If one person or one group of people is unhappy, it could be something about them. But if everyone is unhappy, it seems that it is the system and leadership that needs a change. Help.
Thank you very much, Susan. I appreciate your comments.
Just one quick question. What grade do you teach?
I teach 4th grade.
Okay, so I think that's actually a perfect age group to ask this question, actually, because our previous speaker mentioned that children don't learn backwards. But in addition, when something like this is implemented, we're almost relying on the falsehood that that 4th grader has already learned some of these Common Core standards in 3rd grade and 2nd grade and 1st grade. And I was wondering if you could just highlight or speak a little bit about what types of issues are coming up in terms of taking time away from instruction time to teach things that theoretically would have been taught in other grades, but they haven't been because every grade's getting forced to adopt this new curriculum all at once.
We are teaching Module 1 for the ELA, and it's a social studies curriculum about Native Americans. And the first thing that you need to know is our social studies curriculum has not taught that yet. And it talks about the Revolutionary War. That has not been taught yet. So basically what the teachers have to do is we have to spend at least an hour to change and fix the core curriculum, objectives, instruction, everything that we're doing to still be able to carry them out so the kids can understand it. So that's taking a lot of time. And that's just for basic things. We also have to add all of this, or parts of it, the social studies curriculum. And in my school, we divide up in, I teach the science to 3 other, for 3 classes, because we switch for the content areas. And then there's a social studies teacher and a writing teacher. And the social studies teacher told me that she has to reteach. We have to also bring up concepts that we wouldn't bring up, and that's taking more time. Because they're not getting it younger, it's not developmentally appropriate because they don't understand that, and it's not even in the curriculum for social studies. So she has to continuously reteach and correct misconceptions. Another thing that we had in our core curriculum is, in the beginning, it takes a document, which is a primary document written down from oral language from the Iroquois Confederacy. And the students are supposed to read parts of this, which obviously they can't even read some of the vocabulary, and you'd have to have quite a large amount of background to really make it make sense. So then you can then write about it on top of it. There are 2 good books that we have. There's information that is good, and there are things that they have learned from this, but it is, in my opinion, it's not, you're not getting the bang for your buck, basically.
And just quickly then, are you finding that the students are, becoming much more confused than before because they're seeing concepts that they haven't seen before?
Definitely, and there are lessons that I know that will help with not just some of these social studies concepts that are based for ELA and for writing and for reading, but lessons that we did before that I knew were appropriate, and I'm putting those in, and those are the ones that I can see the most success with. And then we have to, on top of it, do the core curriculum standards, and like you're saying with the time and the differentiation, everyone is struggling, in our building, and it doesn't matter how long you have been teaching. People, like I said, they're tired, they're stressed, but they love children, and we just do the best that we can. But we're asking for a change.
Thank you.